The Karate Tournament.
Mitchell Corporation is best known for another of my all-time favorites at the arcades. Pang, or Pumping World, or Buster Brothers, it depends where you're at. 3 years later came up with this Karate Championship style of arcade game, named simply the Karate Tournament. It brought so many awesome memories of playing international karate on the C64 and Way of the Exploding Fist on the ZX Spectrum a few years before. And I used to love this genre so much back in the 80s, again highly influenced by 80s fighting movies and TV series. Sadly, it never got converted to home systems, probably because around that same time, this huge bomb also arrived at the arcades.
Gaiapolis.
A year later, by 1993, the beat-em-up genre was clearly starting to fade out. One-on-one fighters were taking over the arcades and consequently our homes as well. With Gaiapolis, Konami tried a different approach to this dying genre with a unique top-down fantasy style of gameplay with also some RPG elements thrown in. Besides that, Konami even introduced a password system so that players could resume their game. How cool was that? Gaiapolis was a true groundbreaking title that arrived just a bit too late. The sound effects, the soundtrack, the cutscenes, the beautiful 2D graphics, it was the pinnacle of that era, but sadly was overshadowed by one-on-one fighting games like, again, Street Fighter 2 and by now, Mortal Kombat 2 that were completely dominating the arcades by that time.
Dyna Gear.
Now for some run and gun action, here's Dyna Gear that immediately reminds us of Caveman Ninja, Magic Sword, and even Ghouls and Ghosts. It tells the story of Roger that gets teleported back in time to a strange planet packed with dinosaurs and even werewolves. Wolf, one of the inhabitants, offers help to together stop Gustav, that is turning the dinosaurs into deadly weapons of destruction. So right in the beginning of the game, we're granted with the option to play the game as Roger or as Wolf, each with their own unique characteristics. Just one, in fact. Roger is quick and Wolf can jump higher. That's it. There's 8 stages and in some, there's even branching routes that can really immerse the player with another unique feature. Along the way, other characters will offer help and will follow us in our perilous journey.
Gallet.
Staying in 1993, Gallet was introduced to players with this frenetic vertical shoot-em-up action, a style that by then continued to grab players at the arcades and still holds pretty damn well today. 1990s Raiden was its main inspiration, but Gallet can also be a classic on its own. It's beautifully designed with extremely detailed sprites and backgrounds that can even create an incredible sense of depth. It's also one of the most generous shoot-em-ups in terms of power-ups, and the difficulty curve is practically the same from beginning to end. So if you're a fan of the genre, you'll love it, that's guaranteed, and just like it's said in Gallet's Attract mode, it will blow your socks off.
Aqua Jack.
Combining ideas taken from Chase HQ and Operation Wolf gave birth to this rail shooter by the name Aqua Jack, a really popular genre by the end of the 80s. I only wish that it had a health bar so that we could survive a bit more in this kind of bullet hell nightmare. One hit and we're dead. Even so, all this action and thrilling ride keeps me entertained for a while, till I get disappointed with the clumsy and unforgiving hit detection. Give it a spin, it's not that bad. The music is awesome, but with all the hell breaking loose, it's almost impossible to stop firing to listen to it.
AB Cop.
Again, the frenetic action and fast scrolling of Chase HQ and Hang On ended up inspiring another exclusive arcade game. Released in 1990, AB Cop is set in the future, in where we play the role of a traffic cop who rides an air bike chasing down the bad guys at breakneck speeds. And that's what AB Cop stands for, Air Bike Cop. It's a quite easy game. We just need to smash into a certain number of bikers before time runs out, and do the same to the stage boss till it explodes. There's also a couple of stunts we can pull off to help us on our mission to stop crime once and for all. The ability to jump and an unlimited turbo boost that needs to replenish itself before being used again. Applying these two tricks together is a pretty good technique against end-level bosses. And speaking of this, AB Cop is often remembered as the title that introduced the end-level boss to the racing genre, even if I don't see it as a racing game.
Prehistoric Isle in 1930.
This setting is a treat for me. I simply love jungle-based games, and Prehistoric Isle in 1930 is really gorgeous. Can't quite understand why it never came home back in the day. Besides the beautiful and exotic graphics, it plays like a dream. We're flying over this island populated with prehistoric animals of all sorts, lizards, dinosaurs and pterodactyls, giant insects and even angry cavemen, in a horizontal style of shooter that can drastically change its direction, diving into caves, waterfalls, cliff sides, and it even has a small touch of R-Type with a turret that can be oriented around the plane that comes really handy during all those crazy changes of momentum. Now comes the time when you tell me that Prehistoric Isle in 1930 was also made available through the PlayStation Store for the PSP, Vita and PS3 back in 2012. Indeed it was, but again, I wish that it would have came out back in the end of the 80s when I was eager to play it. Nowadays, all my hype simply vanished and prefer to play it using my arcade cabinet with a good old arcade stick.
Oni, the Ninja Master.
By 1995, Band Presto, part of the Bandai Namco empire since 2008, released this obscure fighting game known in Japan as Oni the Ninja Master. The first half of the 90s, and after the huge success of Street Fighter II, would offer gamers a wide variety of fighting games to choose from, and some developers would even try to go beyond what was traditional for this genre. In Oni we fight these extremely powerful bosses that are so hard to beat that we could even invite a friend to join in and play in co-op. And the sprites and art style are so amazingly beautiful, don't you agree? Sadly, and as you might imagined, the success formula of traditional fighting games was broken in this game. Playing one-on-one against friends was what attracted players to the fighting genre, and that ingredient was completely left aside in this one. Even so, try it in co-op, it's really worth it.
Racing Hero.
Outrun is what comes in mind when seeing Racing Hero for the very first time. But this time around, is Outrun in two wheels. Thinking of it, Racing Hero has the best from both worlds, the best from Outrun and the best from Hang On. It used the same hardware as Sega's Afterburner, and these colorful transcontinental graphics is what really attracts me in the genre and made me love the Outrun franchise so much. I normally end up running away from boring circuit racing, so these point-to-point races are totally my thing. Racing Hero never arrived home, probably cause it ran out of time or fuel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Cheers!